Hey, how's it going, folks? You're back with another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Glad to have you guys back. Glad you guys are liking the series. I'm going to keep this thing going along. I like to keep people informed. I like the format of it as well. Let's hop right into the first article. This article is from The Direct. Deadpool 3 trailer release date prediction. Here's when it's most likely to debut. I kind of thought this article was interesting. It's more speculative, but there's some good statistics within the article, so I'll read a little bit for you. As I say with all these article guys, I've said it before, all these links are going to be in the description, so if you do want to read the full article, just go into the description, click the link, and it'll be there for you guys. But let me read a little bit of this one. Production is finally complete on Deadpool 3, with Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But when will the first official trailer be released? Deadpool 3 was already one of the most anticipated upcoming MCU movies, but the excitement has only furthered since delays to Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts have left it as Marvel Studios' only 2024 film. I thought that was a pretty cool article there. Like I said, I'm going to go through a couple more details in the article, but there is some information that I actually didn't know, and it was new to me, and it says that the production is finally complete on Deadpool 3, so that's a positive thing. We've talked about Deadpool before on the Popcorn Square podcast, and we talked about how that third act was basically hell to shoot, but it looks like they finally finished it, so I thought that was pretty cool. There's some cool statistics on here as well I'm going to go through. So they've kind of speculated when this first trailer should debut, and they have a list of other Marvel releases and the duration of time in between when the trailer debuted and when the movie came out. So I'll go through a couple titles. Black Widow, 150 Days, right? Now, that had some delays going on with it. I think Black Widow might have came out during COVID time. I'm not 100% sure. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, 136 days. Eternals, 165 days. Spider-Man, No Way Home, 116 days. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, 135 days. Thor, Love and Thunder, 81 days. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, 110 days. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, 116 days. So that's just to name a few. And I believe they're speculating, based off the release of the movie date, which is July 26th, they're speculating that we should get a trailer around March 10th. So that'd be interesting. I had thought that, releasing a trailer during Super Bowl would have been real big for Deadpool 3. Deadpool doesn't really need too much marketing, but every movie needs marketing at the end of the day, and I thought that would have been a good platform to market it because there's so many eyeballs on that game and on the commercials specifically. And Deadpool kind of plays into a comedic role as well, so I thought that would have been pretty cool for a Super Bowl commercial, but it looks like March 10th is what they're speculating. But yeah, I thought this article was interesting. If anything, I'm happy that they actually finished the production of the movie and they're going into post-production. So hopefully Deadpool does stay with that July 26th release date and it does come out because I think it's going to be a good movie. It's the only thing that Marvel Studios has going right now, so hopefully it does work out with them. But like I said, the link to that article is going to be in the description. Go ahead and read that all the way through if you're interested in that. Next article is from Empire. New Evil Dead spinoff film in the works. Let's read a little of this. So it seems they have a director for this movie. Sebastian Vinicek says he's been hired by Ghost House Pictures to film this movie. I don't know when they're going to start filming. I don't know if they have a script for this thing. It doesn't give me too many details about that. The article's going to be in the description so you can read it, but I'll just read, let's see the second paragraph. According to Deadline, the new film story is being kept under wraps. And the spin-off nature means that this doesn't remove the possibility that Cronin will go on to make a Rise sequel. He has ideas for where it can lead. It simply represents Raimi and Tapper finding more talent to usher in other movies featuring those terrifying Deadites. Interesting. And I actually saw Evil Dead Rise. I saw it after it was out of theaters. I think I saw it on Max, I believe it was. I wasn't a big fan of the movie, honestly. I thought the writing was pretty weak. I thought there was no character development. I didn't really grow to care for any of the characters. And there's a lot of gruesome stuff that happens within the movie, but it was nothing that was too shocking to me. I could be too desensitized to stuff like that. But, I fought through the movie so I could actually rate it based off the full idea, the complete idea. If anybody knows about Evil Dead, it started off with like the original Evil Dead, I believe that came out in the 80s. And then you had Army of Darkness, which I thought was a hilarious movie. Everybody should go watch that. I don't know if there was a third one after that. There might have been a third one after that. But then there was a little gap in between, and then they rebooted Evil Dead, and I believe it was 2013. That movie was a little more serious. It wasn't so comical, and I think that movie was pretty good as well. I didn't see that, but I've heard people talk about that movie. They said it was pretty shocking and gruesome, stuff like that. So when I saw that Evil Dead Rise was coming out, I saw the trailer, liked the trailer, thought it was interesting. But then when I watched the movie, I just lost a lot of interest. Probably about 45 minutes to an hour in. With a sequel, I don't know really what they're going to do with the sequel. Because really, if you watched Evil Dead Rise, you can see that they're opening it up for a sequel and something else could spin out of that with those characters. But the main characters that are in Evil Dead Rise, there's no way that they're really going to be able to participate in anything like that. So it could just be a whole new story all around. Maybe it's something interesting that I'll be interested in. I want to see what they do with it. I wonder what direction they'll go in with it. So that's an interesting article. Like I said, that one's going to be in the description as well. If anybody's into the Evil Dead series, especially the new Evil Dead series, I think this would be an article that everybody would like to read about. We'll see what's going on with this movie in the future, though. Moving on, a little more lighthearted from the direct. Hercules live action movie release, cast rumors and everything we know. Read a little bit of this. A live action remake of Disney's Hercules from 1997 is in the works, and there are already rumors surrounding the mythological musical remake's all-star cast. Reports of a live action adaptation of the demigod's journey from zero to hero first surfaced in April 2020 via The Hollywood Reporter. Along with news of Avengers Endgame's Joe and Anthony Russo attached as producers, this was followed by confirmation via Variety of Guy Ritchie, the director of 2019's Aladdin, signing on to direct. Pretty cool article there. Funny enough, I actually bought the animated version of Hercules over Christmas, so it's funny that I found this article. I thought this was really interesting. I wonder how they're going to attack this to make it live action. I think they're going to have to use quite a bit of CG here, and I don't know if they have a list of actors that they've signed to play specific roles, but I think this would be a great movie for the family unit and the new generation of kids that don't really know about the animated version of Hercules. And I think it'd be cool if the parents actually show their children the animated version of Hercules so they have something to really compare it to. But yeah, I think this is going to be good as long as they don't interject any weird politics into it, keep the CG down to a minimum, get some good actors. I think this movie is going to be very interesting. Like I said, I bought Hercules on DVD. I remember watching it as a kid. I thought it was a great animated movie. It's one of those underrated Disney movies. So I think this is some cool stuff, some good news about that. That article is going to be in the description as well if you guys want to read a little more into that. Moving on to the next article. This one is from Collider. James Cameron already has ideas for Avatar 6 and Avatar 7. Well, I'm not surprised there. You know, James Cameron, he always has these ideas and then he works on them, takes him years to actually fulfill and bring these ideas to fruition. And as anybody knows, I remember the first Avatar, I believe it came out 2009, groundbreaking film. It took him 12 years to create that movie. So I'm not surprised that he has ideas for 6 and 7 already. Let's read a little bit here. Even though we won't see Avatar 5 till 2031 at least, it seems like the billion-dollar franchise creator James Cameron already has his eyes on an even more distant future. In an interview with People during the 51st Saturn Awards this weekend, the director and producer revealed that ideas for Avatar 6 and Avatar 7 are already rolling around inside his head. Cameron suggested that you can't help but think of new stories when you are coming up with a whole universe. I think that's really cool, and also I think the creation of Avatar for James Cameron, it does keep his creative juices flowing. And I also think that it allows him to just come up with new things on the fly and add in because it is like a sci-fi movie and it is something that's not based necessarily in reality. So a lot of ideas will work. So I think this is really cool for him. Avatar 1, 2, I've never actually seen Avatar. And actually, I think they're available on Max. So I think eventually I am going to sit down and watch those movies. I know they're about 3 hours each, so it's going to take me about a whole day to watch all those. I might have to watch it in blocks there. That's typically how I watch these type of movies. But man, the fact that he's got these movies set up in his head, that's pretty awesome. And I know he's going to get a green light for it. Avatar is a movie, highest grossing movie of all time. That's with inflation factored in. Avatar 2, I believe, is almost at $2 billion. This movie's a blockbuster. It costs a lot to make, but if you get that return back, they'll allow you to make as many avatars as you like. And I think James Cameron, he's really hit the nail on the head with the Avatar series. So like they say, Avatar 5 is coming out in 2031. We haven't gotten to Avatar 3 or 4 yet, but I know those are slated to come out within this decade, I believe. So just interesting to see where this Avatar story goes. And I wonder if people are still going to be interested in Avatar after the 4th or 5th one. We've seen this with a lot of series before. There's series that can go on and be popular over a decade or 2 decades, But also we've seen the other end of that where people kind of grow tired of seeing the same thing over and over. So I think if James Cameron can sit down, write a decent story. Avatar is big on visuals. If he can keep those visuals cutting edge, up to date, even moving into the future, I think people will be engaged with Avatar. Avatar has a strong following now. People know the brand, so it's not something that you have to market too much. But I thought that article was really interesting, and I am going to do my due diligence, and I am going to watch Avatar 1 and 2. I got to do that. But yeah, I think this was a really cool article. That one's going to be in the description as well, anybody that's interested in that. That's going to do it for today, folks, on the weekly broadcast number 4. I'm glad you guys are tuning into this. I'm glad you guys like it. Please leave some feedback, comment, subscribe to the page. Be looking out for the Popcorn Square podcast every Monday and Friday, and I will be back with another broadcast of the weekly for you guys soon. It's Neff signing off. Be safe.